thick and lift and gingerbread. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Hello, everybody. Fresh from the pan, Mr. Gingerbread Man. Decided to light a little bit of sage. Got my virtual fireplace going in the background, sitting in front of my tree. Hello, everybody. Joe and Aaliyah are here. Woohoo! Awesome, awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to pull some cards. We are going to pull some medicine cards. And the first thing I want to do before we get into that is I'm going to call in sacred space. We turn this whole thing. I love you too, Joe. Awesome. I'm so happy you guys are here. I want to set sacred space to turn this entire video into a ceremony. So, spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the fae, the spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. Only love gets in. Only love is invited. Ah, oh. Hello, everybody. Okay, I got people already signing up. If you are new here, Christina. Hi, Christina. And Anna. And Joe. And Aaliyah. And Kim. Hello. And that is actually, so for those of you who have not watched my videos recently, I've changed things up a little bit. Instead of 6 cards, I'm only doing 5. So the first 5 people who come on once the video starts and says yes in the comments gets a 1 card reading. Aliyah. And so we have our 5 people, but if you are not one of those original 5, you are still in luck, and all you need to do is choose a number between 1 and 5 and listen to that card. And I promise, even though it may be aimed at someone else, that your message will be totally interwoven into that message. So everything you need to know, all your questions that you want, well, not maybe all of your questions will be answered, but what you need to know right here, right now, will be interwoven. So, oh, Kim, thank you. Oh, the donation link isn't. I will have to fix that then. Um, I do have my pay or my Venmo link in the description, and if you go to Venmo, it's at Perching Wolf. So I'll have to fix that in the description if it's not currently working. But thank you, Kim. Thank you so very much. And using that as a segue, my only request for your being here, you're watching this live, is to please share my video. But if you enjoy my videos, if you get something good out of tonight and you want to reciprocate, I gladly and humbly and so gratefully accept whatever you wish to donate to me. And I said my Venmo link is in the description. Apparently, it's not working, so um, it's Venmo, and I think I'm under there as at Perching Wolf, PerchingWolf. So thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And so the reason I'm only doing 5 cards now. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Zenit Zoo. Merry Christmas. I know only 10 days. Um, so the reason I'm doing 5 cards rather than 6 is that um normally I would do 6. The way I did it before, I would do 6 cards for individuals, then I would pull a 7th card, last card, for the community. And I was asking my guides how to kind of mix it up a bit. Uh, and so what they told me was to do 5 cards. And then at the end, I take those 5 cards from those individuals and I put them into a spread. If you were to come to me for a one-on-one reading, I do a 5 card spread. It's called the medicine wheel spread, where you've got north, north, south, east, west, and center. And so these 5 cards I'm doing for individuals will form the 5 cards for that reading, and that reading will be for the community. And I love the poetic way that each individual message weaves into the overall general message for our community. Um, so that's what we're doing. So let's go ahead and get started. And if you haven't been here before, the deck I use is the medicine card deck. With each card has a different animal totem. Um, they just they literally speak to me more than like the tarot. So here we go. So our first card for Christina. Ba, 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 da, ba, dee, bum, ba, bum, ba, dum, ba, dum, bum, bum, ba, dum, ba, dee, bum, ba, bum, ba, dum, ba, dum, ba, 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 da, bum, ba, dum, ba, dum, ba, dum. Oh, I should be wearing my hat. Ba, 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 dee, ba, ba, dum, ba, dum, ba, dum. Fresh out of the pan, sweet gingerbread man. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking. All right. Card 1 for Christina. All right, Christina. Card number 1 is raccoon in reverse. Hi, Renee. Ho, ho, ho. I actually am looking into, I'm on the email list of a bunch of different Santa Claus schools. I am seriously considering going to Santa school. So anyway, um, so card number 1 is raccoon in reverse. Just keeping track of the cards so that I can do the spread when I'm done. And so raccoon is coming as kind of wanted to say a challenge, but I think I would prefer saying more like it's an invitation. Well, thank you, Aaliyah and Renee. Um, I love Santa Claus. Anyway, raccoon in reverse is kind of an invitation to become an outlaw. Um, I always think of raccoon as the Robin Hood of the animal kingdom. Even down, he's got the mask and everything, right? That noble thief. Because when raccoon goes out scavenging for food, he doesn't consume the food where he finds it. He brings it back home so that the entire family eats. And so it's kind of that stealing from the rich, giving to the poor kind of thing. And so raccoon is definitely about thinking outside the box, that they are so intelligent and they recognize how things work, etc. They notice patterns, they see how things work. And so they are notoriously clever, um, and rascally, and will find their way through any. People try all the time to keep the raccoons out or to keep them from their food or whatever. And it's kind of an exercise in futility, because futility, not futility. um, because raccoon just doesn't play by the rules. He's literally an outlaw, like Robin Hood, you know. Um, and it's not. There's a keen difference between being a leader and being a rebel, right? A rebel rebels against something. A rebel's strength is only as strong as whatever it is they're pushing against. Trying to get my hat to sit right. But if there's nothing there for the rebel to push against, they're not. A rebel doesn't work toward something. They don't work for something. They work toward the end of something else. So once that something else is taken out, there's no more plan, there's no more forward movement. And that's why so many rebellions through history tend that the ones who rebel tend to just take on the um same appearance and surface of those they rebelled against, because there's no vision, there's no plan on the other side of that. But a leader has a vision. Their vision may bring them up against others. They may seem to be, head to head against someone, but they're it's kind of like you know, Bruce Lee had his famous 1 inch punch, um, where he would literally be like this far away, and he would punch the person, and it would push them back where they had like a. You can Google it. You can see it on YouTube. He actually knocked this guy back and onto a chair behind him from 1 inch away. And his secret is that you don't. He's not just punching here. He's punching here, right? His goal is beyond that initial surface, and so the power of that force forward blows that opposition away, because the opposition is not the goal. Does that make sense? So like Robin Hood, he was an outlaw, but kind of in the same way that um, say Anne Frank was an outlaw, or there's so many different examples, like people who were outlawed because they did the right thing, right? Does that make sense? So Robin Hood's form of outlaw is he was only an outlaw because he worked outside the law. He worked outside the rules. He did the right thing, which took him outside of established acceptance of what's acceptable. Um, and so there's this invitation to kind of move out of your comfort zone and be willing to risk. There's this quote from Epictetus. It's on the welcome page, homepage of my website, um, and it's something like, "If you're going to succeed, you need to be content with looking stupid and foolish." And so this is having that vision in reverse. It's kind of like feeling feeling trapped, feeling not feeling the freedom to move. It's like there's these restraints around you that keep you in this box, and you might even be able to see your way out of it, right? But there's this fear of leaving because you're afraid of what are other people going to think? How will you be received if you step out of that box, right? Um, it is your with I this it is your choice. It is your freedom. Um, and your only duty in this world is to be as fully, authentically yourself as you possibly can be. That is the best gift you could ever give the world. And so to live inside a box like that is not only doing yourself a disservice, it's also it's a disservice for all the people around you who will benefit more from you being whole and in your power, than being, afraid of their shadow, afraid to step out of the shadow, or afraid to step into the shadow, as the case may be, right? And so there's this bigger vision of being yourself. And like Raccoon, being himself means that his family gets fed no matter what gets in the way. That's his goal. And just like Robin Hood, whose vision is to feed the poor and to rescue um, the oppressed, and he doesn't mind that it happens to be, in opposition to the sheriff and the church and everything else, right? That's just part of the fun, and he loves his job, right? It's not this goal, and he's so focused on this solemn goal to make everything better. He loves leaping out of the trees in front of the sheriff or in front of the bishops and, stand and deliver, with this big grin on his face, laughing out loud because he loves his job. So there's there's a way to, how do I say this? There is a way to become more yourself, to stand in your power, and one of the main ingredients of that is joy, doing what you love. Um, One of the spirit guides I call on daily, um, when I get up in the morning and I call in my guides and guardians, and I ask for help from my body protector, and um, who is a wild boar named Alice. I actually have a project I'm working on over here. I have my I have a wild boar skin. I don't know if you can see the little rainbow hairs. Um, my boar is a fairy boar, and when he's not being all tough and imposing, he can explode into like this rainbow of fairy lights. And so I have a boar hide that I've been putting those that fairy hair you can get. Um, anyway, beyond the point. So he's my body protector. So I call in him to protect my body. I call on Saint Michael. Well, Archangel Michael. I keep saying saint because I was raised Catholic. It's kind of part of my makeup now. And Joan of Arc. And the thing when I call in Joan, I always picture this armor. It's like this dragon scale armor. But I emphasize the fact what draws me to her is her passion. And so I see this armor, this dragon scale armor, but it's not holding me in. It's the protection of passion. It's like I am shielded. I am clothed in my passion, and that light of passion keeps me safe, clears the path before me. And so to move into your passion, to move into your heart, into your power, and keep moving forward, right? It's like I'm always saying, the universe has your back. Your greatest decision you'll ever make, according to Einstein, is whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile one. And spoiler alert, it's a friendly universe. I just got 2222 as I said that on the counter. So if your job on in the world is to become as authentic as you possibly can, if the universe has your back, if the universe wants you to succeed, then every step you take toward that authenticity, towards that integrity, towards that love and joy that is your makeup, um, the universe supports you exponentially. And that's not to say that there won't be challenges, right? Um, because those are how we grow. It's like there's a challenge. It's just like math problem. That's like, oh, okay, now I get how the numbers work together because I just did this problem, whatever. Um, and so it's kind of moving into that uniqueness. Celebrate your uniqueness. Celebrate the things that make you you. Um, and know that everything done in okay, nothing done in joy is ever wasted. The way I think about it, there's enough ugliness, there's enough heaviness in the world. Any act of joy, any act of love brings more joy and love and light into the world than was there before. Why add to the ugliness, right? Why add to the heaviness? Like I've said this before, that like my one goal every day is that when I go to bed at night, there's at least a little bit more beauty in the world than there was when I woke up. And so it's like, and as an artist, this is one of my pet peeves. There's so many artists that do their art to emphasize the ugliness and the darkness, um, and all of that, which there is nothing wrong with that. It's just that they're missing the last step. because as an artist, if I am just doing ugliness and darkness to reflect the world, I'm adding to that darkness. And the job of a visionary, of an artist, of a shaman is to see beyond the appearance, to see what lies on the other side of it, and then to bring into the world, into physical form, a vision of that vision so that other people can see it, a physical manifestation of that vision, of that dream, of that passion, which then allows others who may not be as creatively minded, who might be more extroverted than introverted, etc. Um, it's like it plants the seeds. It helps others. Like my default setting is of course Star Trek, and this world that Gene Roddenberry created in the future of where everyone is nurtured to become exactly who they are, right? Um, Everything is in peace. Everything is working together, and it's not perfect, of course, right? This is kind of a idolized version of it, but the point is that he made this vision. He brought this vision to TV in the '60s when there were riots, when there was war, when there was it looked like the end times. And he brought this vision of a world at peace, a world which had every nationality of person on the bridge, um, including Ahura, who was black, a black woman in this, important role, um, visualizing this world where that was okay. And that's why there's such a craze. That's why there's so many fervent fans who are passionate about Star Trek because that's the vision. And um, at least speaking for myself, that's the part that gets me going is the idea of that vision. I know that that is the world that we are aiming for. Um, and everything I do is toward that goal. And holding that vision as well to know that no matter what happens, that is where we're headed. And I don't know why I got on that tangent, but um, oh, and so when you follow your own vision, when you follow your own passion, you're not just doing it for yourself. It's not selfish. You are actually benefiting. You are literally like raccoon, you are literally feeding everyone around you. When you live from your heart, when you do your best, when you do live as authentically as you possibly can, um, everything you do brings more love, more light, more connection into the world. And that feeds everyone around you, whether they realize it or not. Um, I am getting so verbose. So raccoon in reverse, it's like there was a cartoon I saw a while back. It was this man standing on a platform, and there were bars up to a certain extent, and then there was this line of people handing him bars, and he's the one putting the bars in, and he's creating this cage around him by the expectations of others. um like a southern guy I used to work with used to say is like, there's going to be enough people digging your grave, don't pick up a shovel and help. Um, the cage you find yourself in is built on the expectations of others or your expectations or your perspective of the perspectives of others, right? And so it's time to free yourself up. And if that means having to piss off a few people, if that means having to say no, um, or yes, having to say yes to yourself and like to say no to something else because there's this other thing you really want to do, that is becoming that outlaw. And like Dr. Seuss said, let me get it straight in my head before I say it out loud. Those who mind don't matter. Those who matter don't mind. And by being your authentic self, by stretching into your superpowers, right? Your talents, you came here with a purpose, which is being squelched and formed and molded by this tiny box that the world is trying to keep you in. Um, the world can only improve by you like stretching out, owning your space, celebrating your uniqueness, celebrating your gifts, and taking them as far or following them as far as you can go with them. Okay. Be the imp. Don't be afraid of being the imp, of being the one who um, ruffles feathers. Don't don't be afraid of being the smartest one in the room. By being your true authentic self, by living within that integrity and the freedom of your passions, it's kind of a self-cleaning oven in a way that it it repels the people who don't belong in your life and it attracts the people who do. So by living your true life, by stepping outside the lines, coloring outside the lines, number one, you're improving your own life. Number two, you're improving the lives of those around you. Okay. I really hope that made sense. I feel like I was all over the place with that. But it is time to move on to card number two. I feel like I'm made out of gingerbread. Uh huh. Uh huh. Crown picking, lip licking gingerbread. Uh huh. Uh huh. Ba 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 dee bum ba dum ba da ba dum. Ba 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 dee dum ba dum ba da ba dum. Fresh out of the pan, sweet gingerbread man. All right, card number two for you are so welcome, Christina. I hope that made sense. You can do it. It's okay. One last thing for Christina. It's kind of like the devil card in the tarot, where these two people are chained to this rock or chained to this thing, and the devil is up there roaring at them, and the key to their chain is sitting on top of the rock. They have the freedom to free themselves. They have the means to free themselves. It's just they're so distracted by the devil dancing in front of them and the fear that he's eliciting from them that they don't look to see how to get out. Energy is definitely shifting. You got this. Awesome. All right, card number two for Anna. Who got bear? bear is such a perfect card for what for where we are in the cycle of the seasons right now, right? It's like right now is the time when the bears are either going into their dens or they're already there to go to sleep, to hibernate, to dream. And bear is about introspection. It's I was just talking to someone about this the other day. I forget who, but it's like everything in our society tells us that this time of the year we have to go crazy, we have to up our game, we have to be active, we have to do this and go there and buy presents and go to parties and there's just this rush of action and motion and everything else. And so it takes real strength to actually live in resonance with those natural cycles of nature, which are also reflected in our own natural cycles. And it's still, I mean, it's okay to do all the things you need to do, but to balance it out with inner work. It's like Bear emphasizes the dark, emphasizes that cutting off all simulation, outside simulation, and going into the dark, going inside themselves. Um, and it can be to kind of integrate the past year's achievements, tribulations, or whatever, but it's also to rest. Um, Rather than upping our frenetic energy, it's time to rest. It's okay. What was that one quote? It's like rest is a step forward. Rest is not an intermission, it's not an interruption of your path. Rest is the next step. And who better than Bear to remind us of that when she goes into the cave and sleeps for an entire season? And so, and what do you do when you go into the dark, when you rest, when you sleep? You dream. Um, it says like this card is like this is the space between the in breath and the out breath. This is that momentary pause, kind of like when you throw a ball up in the air and it goes up and then it kind of pauses at its height for a moment before dropping. It's like you're right there. It's like that liminal space where you're kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And it's from that place in the darkness, in the void, right, that we create. Um, the darkness is not evil. The darkness is not bad. The darkness is the womb of the cosmic mother. And Bear was the first deity ever worshipped by humankind as the great mother because she knew she had dominion over life and death. She literally, to their eyes, died for a whole season and then came back to life. And so there's power in that darkness the power to dream, the power to imagine, the power to ask, okay, what do I want to create? Not what can I do? What am I allowed to do? Um, what can I get by with? It's about what do I want to do? What do I really want? Who do I really want to be? And then to take that and you create the template for that life by dreaming it first, by creating it in the void, and it's playful, it's experimentation. It's like you can kind of daydream and think, oh, what would it be like when I finally publish my comics, which is like the personal one for me, or I release my fashion line, or write my book, or whatever it is, and to just keep playing with it as if it were already true. This is the pause in between um, inaction and action. And this is the pause where you decide, what do you want? And it's again that reminder to prioritize your needs, to take care of yourself, to feed your dreams. Because just like I was saying earlier about, you know, if you're not one of the first five to get a card, to just choose a number and pay attention, and that the universe will weave your message in with whoever that card was originally meant for. And it's the same thing. It's like the passion, the talents, the purpose that you were born with interweaves with the dreams and the passions and the purposes of every person on the earth. That's how it works. So by seeing to your own dreams, you can do no harm. You can only improve the world, because your dreams feed other people's dreams. And there are people in your future that are waiting for you to dream the right dream and then to act upon it. Um, because dreams are a community thing. We don't dream just for ourselves. It might be individual, it might be using our own symbology and mythology, etc., to get messages to us, but we dream for our community, because when we all do better, we all do better. So what's the best for me is automatically the best for everyone else. And so you can focus on your dreams. It's safe. It is, the universe will back you up, because the universe wants you to succeed. The universe will do everything it can to help you succeed. And so, like Ramtha used to say, don't manifest the money for the shoes, manifest the shoes. Don't don't focus on creating the life that's good enough, and then maybe you can get to your dream. It's manifest those dreams. Dream bigger. Don't compromise. Don't play small. The world in this moment, in the history of the planet, the world is calling you forth to be your biggest, truest self, right? And Anna knows this because she was in my class. But one of the things that I do in my class, the deepening the journey class, is we do the shamanic journey to meet and to merge with our, I just got 4444 on the counter, with our true self. And our true self, it's not our higher self, It's not the self of us that is kind of removed from this reality. Our true self is who we are. How do I put this into words again? With all our potentials realized. It's like just like your body has a template so that when you're injured, your body just goes right back to fixing you up and healing you according to that original blueprint, right? Your true self is kind of your blueprint of who you really truly are. And so this is huge, right? It's like when you meet that version of yourself and then to merge with that self and to feel the power. Um, and then the next part of that lesson is um, I continue drumming and I tell people not to come out of the journey, but while they are merged with their true self, to open their eyes and look around the room and notice there's enough space in this room for everybody's true self to be present. Who you truly are is not too much for the world. Aim for your truth. Aim for your dreams. Aim for your passions. That's the best thing you can do, especially right now in this world. The world needs more passionate people, more people who are fired up on their dreams and visions of what could possibly be, of the world that we can create when we finally get our story straight, right? Like that one, there's a meme about like, just imagine what the world could do if 7 billion people or whatever the population is now started working together. So, in other words, the message is dream big, don't settle. The universe is a playground. The universe is frequency, it's energy, it's malleable. Anything is possible. You can create or become anything you dream. It's like the universe is like the sandbox, right? And it reflects who we are, what we focus on. And so focus on that's why we do it in the dark, in the void. So we don't have all this input flooding our senses and distracting us or taking us out of our own vision. We're in the dark so that that's the only thing we have to focus on, that we can focus on our own inner light and to nurture that inner light and to let that light shine, right? Um, because at some point in your spiritual path, one of the crossroads is you have to decide whether you're going to continue to battle the energies coming at you, be kind of that having to guard and protect and armor yourself up against the world, or if you're going to be like the Wi-Fi hotspot where you are the divine presence. You are the light that is radiating out, changing the world around you. You can either broadcast your energy or you can protect it from all the energies that are coming and beating you up. And so this is the first step, is taking your own counsel, disappearing into the cave, into the darkness, into the stillness. And in that stillness and in that darkness to dream the biggest, most colorful, radiant, fabulous dreams that you possibly can imagine. Okay. I think there was more in there than for just you. And I think there was a lot or for other people too. All right. My brother Joe, card number 3. Bum, ba, 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 da, da, bum, ba, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba, 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 da, da, bum, ba, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba, ba, ba-dee, dum, ba-dum, ba-da, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-dum. Mm, 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 mm. Ha ha! Awesome. All right, Joe, card number 3 is salmon. Um, for some reason, all I can think of is a news from Lake Wobegon story where the guy was trying to market salmon in Lake Wobegon, this fictitious Minnesota town, and so he, he was marketing it as Celtic lutefisk or something like that, Norwegian or yeah. Anyway, um, salmon is so I love salmon medicine. One of my main spirit guides is a salmon, and he's the one that helps me do my soul retrieval work for people. And salmon is all about coming home, returning to origin, right? Returning to that place where you were spawned, returning to your original innocence and purity, right? And it's not so much like we have this idea of salmon, this the fighting the good fight, right? Always, I know lutefisk. Bleh. Um, Fortunately, that was never part of my Minnesota upbringing. We were Irish, so I got to skip that particular tradition. Um, with salmon, we have this idea of salmon like fighting the good fight, fighting and battling, and kind of like this, to Valhalla kind of thing. And that's not that is not what salmon medicine is. It's like it's the enthusiasm. I a few years ago, I had this awesome opportunity to speak to a salmon. I was down on the river, sitting on this stone that actually was partially in the river, and there was a salmon kind of over in another area. And as soon as I sat down on this stone, on this rock, that salmon came swimming over and sat right underneath the rock I was on. Um, it was just like this little puppy, and I kept kind of peeking over, like, "Oh my god, he's still there." And he's just sitting there. And so I started talking to him, and I started kind of tuning into him. And the quality that was the most palpable was his enthusiasm. He couldn't wait to get back out into the river. He was taking some time to recoup and recharge before getting out into the mainstream, but he was so excited about going home. That is that kind of enthusiasm that nothing can possibly stand in the way of, right? And so it's not so much fighting your way through to get someplace. It's like that enthusiasm. I this might sound weird, but it's like the future memory of where you came from. It's like It may be in your future, but it's also within you. It's like a memory of who you were. It's like coming that full circle. Um, and it's that feeling of remembrance that creates that enthusiasm that draws you forward through whatever obstacles you need to clear to get there, right? So there's this renewing of enthusiasm, renewing of vision, renewing of conviction and passion and dedication. Um, and and it's one of those things where, like my earlier quote, right? The have not with if you want to succeed, you have to be content with looking foolish or stupid. Salmon. I just got 5555 on the counter. That's interesting. Never really noticed the numbers before, but tonight they're hitting home. Um, oh crap, what was I saying? Oh crap! It just the whole thing just fell out of my head. But it's that it's the idea that you are guaranteed to get there, that you are going home, come hell or high water, which is kind of a interesting thing to say as I'm sitting here in Western Washington and all the floodwaters are rising around us. But it's that clarity of who you are, your purpose, your mission in life, and it's shining so bright with that enthusiasm that the world cannot impinge upon it. No one can take it away from you. No one can even put a shadow of doubt on it. And so it's like this remembering of who you really are. And in the quantum reality, you're already home. You're already whole. You're already all those things. You're your true self already. And so this enthusiasm is a remembering. And it's like that giddiness of a kid on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning when your parents haven't woken up yet and you're champing at the bit to go out and see what Claus brought because you know that Santa was there. You know there's things waiting for you, but you have no idea what they are. And so it's like that curious, expectant curiosity. And so it's like approaching your life knowing like that everything is working in your favor. Oh, and now I remember that line of thought, like not being afraid to look stupid or foolish, because salmon is, compared to other fish, is swimming backwards, right? Going against the flow. Hey, Charles, good to see you too. We're on card number 3. Um, and so there's that being so true to yourself that you don't notice the disagreements or the people poo-pooing you or whatever it is. It's kind of like that. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Aaliyah. And you had that discussion over lunch today about going where the wind takes when it's time. Awesome. You guys are so cool. Um, it's like that other one of my other favorite sayings about, if you stop to throw rocks at every dog that barks at you, you're never going to get where you're going. And so it's kind of like this tunnel vision, but in a good way. It's like the focus of going home because it's not you pushing to get there. It's that memory of who you are, that remembrance that is pulling you forward through all of that stuff. And it's spirit that helps you. Spirit may be, I don't know if you ever saw this cartoon. But it's like there's a person standing on the edge of a cliff, and then there's this big giant hand coming out of the clouds ready to snap them. And it's like the label says me to the little person and God to the hand. But then on the other side of the cliff, there's there's the hand, the giant hand is up there like this, and the person is in the palm of the hand. And it's like also me, also God. It's like spirit may be the one putting the challenges and all of those things in your path, but it has so much faith in you that it won't give you something that will get the better of you. um you are better than, you are more powerful than anything that can arise in your life. If it's in your vision, if it's in your life, you can handle it. There is nothing that is greater than you. And so that is, again, is that focusing on your joy, following your bliss, right? And it's like spirit carries, doesn't just put the waterfalls in your path, it also creates the whirlpools at the base of the waterfalls that you can springboard up and over the falls with. So spirit carries you. Celebrate that enthusiasm. Don't don't play small. The world needs your light. The world needs your enthusiasm. Okay. All right. So card number 4, Rolia. I miss you guys. I wish you were still here. I never got the chance to come visit you. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Card number 4 for Leah is Swan. Um, it's very interesting that you and Joe, like Joe got salmon and you got swan. Number one, they're both these animal critters, right? Number two, it's like I was all the stuff I was just saying about the enthusiasm pulling you, drawing you forward. And swan, oh, I love you guys. Swan is about surrender. It's surrendering to, well, I always say it's like surrendering to your greatness, surrendering to your path, realizing that the universe, this phone, never mind. I have so many beads and stuff like in my carpeting. Um, I keep finding them. Um, Swan is about grace. Swan is about surrendering and this in this trust of your path, knowing that every step forward is divinely given. um, that the universe is co-creating your life with you, that the universe is protecting you, that the universe does have your highest intention at heart. And it's also that energy of the ugly duckling, right? Um, because since you were a kid, you probably didn't feel like you really belonged in this world, or maybe like with your family. Like, what the heck am I doing here? Where did I come from? Because I definitely didn't come from these people, or whatever it is. Um, so having to grow up making excuses and justifying and hiding yourself, trying to be cool, but like the swan being raised with ducks, the swan was always bigger and clumsier and uglier because the swan didn't live up to the duckling standards, wasn't small and fuzzy and cute. But because of everything Swan goes through in her childhood, it's like every like antagonist, every challenge becomes a strength. And like I said, I think I said this last week, I was talking about like sometimes the people that have the most checkered background or the hardest lives, hardest upbringing are the people that end up growing up to be the most kindest, beautiful, helpful people in the world because they were forced to deal with their crap because no one else would, because they weren't granted the privilege of blending in, right? And so you had to come to terms with who you are, who you wanted to be, you know, earlier on than most people because there was no one or nothing that was supporting that in you. And so you had to do your own work. You had to grow up earlier than most people because of that. And it's because of that, the strength, it's like doing reps or something, right? You became stronger, more clear on who you actually are to the point where all the pain and all of the what do I want to call it, like all the pain, the tribulations, the um pitfalls, the mistake, the shame, the guilt, all of those things each added an element of strength to you to the point where you are coming into your power. You are becoming that radiant angelic bird who heals by her very presence, right? I don't know anyone who sees a swan is like, ew. Swans heal. Talk about making sure the world has a little more beauty in it, like every day, like from the time you go to bed, from when the time you woke up in the morning. Swan is pure beauty. You just watched Hans Christian Andersen? Oh my god. The one with Danny Kaye? I love Danny Kaye. But anyway, so you just had this discussion with your uncle. That's so awesome. Exactly that. It's like all of the things. I love you too, dear sister. All of those things that seem to be taking away from you are now your strength so that you shine. It's like the rocks on the beach that are so smooth and you love holding onto them because they're so smooth and there's something about them, and it's because they've been constantly rolled back and forth with the waves, with the tides, that all the hard edges have been worn down until they're purely who they were meant to be, kind of um, like Michelangelo carving away all the parts of the stone that weren't the angel or whatever that he's like removing, like the sculpture is already there and he's just removing the parts that aren't a part of that vision. So there is this grace to you, this beauty to you that just by walking in the door, you lift the energy of the place. It was Danny Kaye. I love Danny Kaye is one of my heroes. I love Danny Kaye so much. Um, but just like Swan inspires people just by swimming, just by being present, you have that same influence that just by being present, people feel uplifted. You bring a light to the world that isn't there when you're not. Does that make sense? Um, and it's kind of like I'm not going to get up and get one at the moment, but I shown before like I've got like the bones, like I've got the one with the wolf bone, I've got all the eagle feathers hanging off of it, fake eagle feathers. Um, and each feather is a battle I survived. It's some challenge I overcame, something that felt like it could take me down, and then I came through it. Instead of it becoming a pitfall that I would continually fall back into, I give myself a feather to turn it into a positive, to show the strength of what it took to come through that. And then I've got this. Okay, fine. I'll just zoom in on. Oh, don't look at my dirty apartment. But so that is all of the battles that I came through in this past year. All of those, each of those feathers represent some battle I survived, something I came through, some challenge that I survived. And so I've got all those feathers showing how strong I was, how strong I become. And it's like each of those things are like one of your swan feathers that makes you able to fly, right? Um, it's those, it is those experiences that make you buoyant, that make you able to fly. And to be so pure and radiant, it's like there's nothing left to sully you. There's nothing, you've done all the shadow work. There's nothing left but light. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that is helpful. All right. So card number 5 for Kim. Ba-dum, 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 bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum. Mhm, mhm. Right. Nice. So Kim, card number 5 is turtle. So got quite a few water oriented animals, but turtle is foundation. Turtle is she's like an embodiment of Mother Earth herself, right? Even in a number of tribes, North America is called Turtle Island. And actually, I've seen like people have drawn, and it really does look like a turtle. Um, but it comes from, at least partially, comes from a story about Sky Woman who fell from the sky world, and as she was falling toward the earth, a flock of geese caught her and brought her back down to the water, and then Turtle rose up to give her something to sit on, right? Became the first ground, and then the animals, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but then the animals took turns and finally were able to get mud from the bottom of the ocean and spread it across Turtle Shell, and so that became North America, that became the land. um, so turtle is about having that foundation, having that groundedness. um, and at the same time it's more of a grounded centeredness within yourself, kind of like that song that I've mentioned before by Libana. Be like the bird who pauses in her flight on a branch so slight that it gives way beneath her, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings. The groundedness and the strength and the foundation come from your faith in yourself, not on what's around you. And so just like turtle, right? You carry your home, your protection with you no matter where you go, whether it's on land or in sea, you are always home. You always have that safe, sacred space so that it doesn't matter where you are. um, the world cannot take that from you. And so that is what lends you the strength and the ability to be a part of many different worlds. Um, being a bridge between the worlds. And I keep going back to like when it's stormy out, when there's white caps on the waves, etc. Turtle doesn't stay on the surface of the water getting battered by the storm. Turtle drops down to a level in the water where she finds stillness, where the waves and the winds above cannot touch her, right? That is your strength. That is your groundedness. That is your lifeline, is being able to go within, drop into your heart, your home, where who you are cannot be affected by anything outside of you. And so it gives you more resilience, right? Um, and it just like the tortoise and the hare, right? If you're always home, there's no hurry, right? There's no place to get to because you're already home. And so there's no sense of urgency. There's no sense that, I have to get to this thing by this time. In fact, Turtle is a master of time. Where is my turtle shell? It was right here. Give me a moment. There it is. Um, so you're a shaman when you're never out of arm's length reach of a turtle shell. Um, so the plates on the turtle shell, right? There's 13 on the top, like the 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? Like the 13 months in the year. And the plates around the edge, there's 28 of those, like the 28 days in the month. And so turtle is a master of time. In fact, some of the earliest divination forms of divination, they would take a turtle shell and they would put it into the fire and wait for it to crack. And then they would read the cracks, whichever section the cracks went across or what they looked like, etc. It was this oracular device. And I think I read that that's where the I Ching came from. That the I Ching, the symbols in the I Ching, came from cracks and forms in the turtle shells. So you're a time lord. You carry time with you. You're inside of time. You're not this is your TARDIS. There's no hurry. You're exactly where you need to be with exactly what is needing to be happening at the moment. And you can trust that in every moment, and that there is no urgency to get something or to become something, to fix something. Um, it all unfolds in its own timing, and you can trust that timing. You can trust those synchronicities and the miracles that happen in your world. Um, because you're always home. You're always protected. You're always safe. You're so safe. There's nothing that can get to you. So trust that. I think like I know I sometimes worry about, when I think about how safe I am, and it's like there's always this fear that, oh crap, what if I get cocky with it? What if I get really arrogant? I kind of test the fates, like, I know I'm protected, so I'm gonna go do this dangerous thing because I know I'll be protected. But you know, until you've mastered the level of enlightenment of, say, Buddha or Jesus or someone, you don't want to just like jump into an active volcano or something, right? Um, and so you don't have, it's like allow that feeling of safety, knowing you're protected, give you the courage to step forward, to step out of your comfort zone. Don't worry about, you know, doing something crazy because you know you're safe. And so it's like that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, I can always pull into my shell. I'm safe at every moment. If something threatens, I'm safe. And that gives you the courage to be able to step outside your comfort zones, to explore some timelines that you might not ordinarily um, feel strong enough or confident enough to pursue. But knowing that the universe literally has your back, you can trust that unfolding and you can take your time, smell the roses, right? You got to stop and smell the roses. You gotta count your many blessings every day. You're gonna find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses along the way. Hey, I'm glad I broke into that and not baby, baby, don't get hooked on me. I knew it was a Mac Davis song. But I hope that makes sense, Kim. It's like own your space, own your space, and trust your abilities over anything that happens to you. Because anything, like I said earlier, anything you find in front of you, you have the power to get through, to heal, whatever the appropriate action is. But there is nothing that is more powerful than you. There is nothing you can't handle when anything you can face, um, you can handle. All right. Okay. So that was our 5 cards. Now, with my handy dandy chart I made as I was pulling the cards, so I get the cards in the right places. um, we're gonna do a community reading. So, if you have ever gotten a reading from me, or if you ever come for a reading from me, this is the spread I most commonly use. So we're just gonna do this kind of. I need to figure out how to. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Hmm. Okay, maybe I can back up a little bit. So can you see all of them? No. Okay. Why is this not? There we go. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think that'll work. So, and I'm not gonna be able to see your comments for a little bit, so I won't don't um if I don't answer a question or something, that's why. So this is the medicine card, medicine wheel spread. And because my camera is on the mirror thing, is like the directions might be different than than the way you're seeing them. But this is east, south, west, north, and center. And so these are the five individual cards that we pulled tonight, forming this reading for the community at large. There was one of those beads. Um, and so I like to start in the east. And so in the east, we have raccoon in reverse. And the east is air. So that is um, the mental realm, thoughts and beliefs, etc. Right? And so raccoon is about raccoon tends to be a service card. It's like always everything you do is a service to your community. Like I mentioned, like Robin Hood, like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, like raccoon goes scavenging for food. He always brings it home to make sure everyone gets fed. He doesn't just eat it where he finds it, he takes it for the family. Um, what's interesting is that this is the only card in the spread that is reversed, and that's not bad. A reversed card is not bad. A reverse card tends to be something that needs attention or a certain medicine or energy that is present but hasn't quite blossomed yet. And that's kind of the case here where we've defied the law of averages because 4 out of 5 cards are upright. According to the law of averages, there should be at least one card facing the other way. And so the fact that there's just one card reversed is very significant. And it's like these ones that are upright is kind of like those are the ones that are coming together. And it's like this is the portal or the funnel or the lens through which all of these are going to find their way into the world, into our lives. And so it's like through belief, through the mental realm, um, a lot of times when this card is reversed, as I think is the case here, is it's not believing in yourself enough. You have all of these strength and all of this flow and all of this stuff going for you, but as a community, we don't believe in ourselves. We're still playing small. It's like we're all individually in our own little boxes, afraid to step out, open the door of the cages around us. But that's okay. That's just there's no judgment, there's no good or bad. That's just like where we are. It's like this is kind of the thing that is in transition. That's basically um being brought up to speed, up to the reality of these things, if that makes sense. Um and so it's kind of like shifting our beliefs of inadequacy and smallness and who am I to change the world? One lonely little person. I can't do anything. But there's a story I love about. It was low tide somewhere, and this boy was running along the beach because when the tide went out, it stranded all these starfish on the beach. And so this boy was running back and forth like crazy, picking up starfish and throwing them back into the water. And some adult came along and he was yelling at us like, "What do you think you're doing? You're not going to be able to save them all. You're not going to make a difference." And the boy was like, "Well, this starfish right here, I just made a difference. I made a difference to all of the starfish that I was able to rescue." And so it's believing in yourself. You don't have to carry the world on your shoulders. That the talents and qualities and passions that you were born with are the road signs of where your greatest service is, right? And rather than it being a service, thinking martyrdom or thinking, oh, I need to sacrifice my wellness for someone else's, this is more like, I think it was Picasso who talked about the only way to grow your talent, to grow your gifts, like as an artist, is to share them. That's the only way they grow. And so that's that service. It's like you become who you are. It's like the story I told before about this the that Buddhist monk who did a video, and he had a glass and he had a pitcher of water, and he said, "This is how we think it's supposed to work." And he took filled up the water, and then he dumped it out, and then he filled up the glass again and he dumped it out. He said, "We think we have to fill our glass and then empty it for the sake of someone else, and then fill it back up and then empty it out. The way it really happens is this." And he took the cup and he started filling and filling and filling and filling. And pretty soon the water was running everywhere, right? And the cup remained full. Become the best you can, believe in yourself, keeping your cup full. And it's, you can't help but share your goodness, your light, your vibration. It just naturally spills out from you and helps everyone else. So you are worthy. You are enough. You have everything you need to change the world for the better. It's just a matter of needing to believe in yourself, especially when that belief it takes you outside of of acceptable society, right? And so it's kind of like the only thing standing in our way right now is our mind, is our belief system that we can't do it, that we aren't good enough, that we're not strong enough, that we don't know enough. Who am I to step forward as a leader, right? Meanwhile, we have all these things in the South. The South is fire. So that is the place of action. It's the place of passion. I kind of consider it the purpose card because it's that desire and passion that drives us, right? And so in the South, we have bear, which, so in a way, this being the action card, it's kind of like the action being called for is inaction. It's calling for more of a, how would I say it, non-ordinary reality action, an action of dreams, an action of the mind, of imagination, rather than physical action. So it's like all you're asked to do right now is to dream. And I've seen many things about, like this. There's so many spiritual and religious doctrines that claim that this world is a dream, right? And that unfortunately humankind is dreaming the wrong dream. We're dreaming the dream of conflict, of power, of scarcity, of limitedness, of some people are better than other people. And it's time to start dreaming of wholeness, dreaming of Starfleet, of Star Trek, of peace, of people working together and what's possible when we come together rather than when we compete against each other. And so your main action called for right now is to rest and to dream. To dream big. There's a reason for going into the cave, into the den, because it's in that darkness that all the stimulation of the outside world is nullified, is quieted. And so all you have is your mind, is your light, is your imagination. And so it's the opportunity to dream unlimited dreams, not forged or shaped by the limits of the outside world. In your imagination, anything is possible. Anything you dream, you can have or become. Everything is possible. If we move into the West is water, and we have salmon. We have a fish in the water. That's very appropriate. And the water, that's the emotional realm. And with salmon, salmon is focused on getting home. When salmon comes up, it's like you are guaranteed to get where you're going. You are guaranteed to arrive. No question, no doubts. And when that becomes the reality, that you know that no matter what comes up, that everything is always working out for you, that you will get through everything that arises, then rather than dreading the next bend of the river and what might be around that curve, it becomes a matter of excitement because it's an adventure. Because no matter what is on the other side of that curve, around that bend of the river, you can handle it. It's not a question of if you can handle it. It's a matter of who you become on the other side of handling it, right? And from all of those waterfalls and all of those obstacles, each of those becomes a feather in your hat. As we move to the north, which is Earth, so this is the physical world, right? How things present in the world, how things are represented, manifested into physical being. And who better than an angelic bird to embody in physical being the light of spirit, that purity of innocence and spirit in physical form. Um, and so, even though we might not believe in ourselves, this is still how we are presenting to the world. People admire you, then you're not even aware of it. You're not even aware of how much you shine. And yet you walk into a room and the entire room lights up. And it's just a matter of, again, coming back full circle to believing in ourselves. Because in our center, the center card, the hub of the wheel, the spirit card, we have Turtle, who is the presence of that unchanging truth of wholeness, of purity, of the unshakable truth of being, right? This is the mother, right? This is the divine mother, the unchanging truth of being that is not of time, that lives beyond time, that is the origin and the source of life, right? And so this is carrying that that stillness, that divinity, that sovereignty into the world, being that divine presence in the world. Hi, Kit Kat. Um, and it's kind of like I would be like I've talked before when bat comes up, right? That it's time to stop grounding to the earth, but bat with his feet in the ceiling grounds upward, grounds to spirit. This is the center card. This is the spirit card. This is where we are meant to ground to. And it's in grounding to our spirit, to that part of us that is pure, unchangeable, what's the word I'm looking for? Untouchable part of us that is beyond any kind of harm that carries us through the trials of temporal reality and the world, right? As we come around to return back to our spirit, to who we've always been, we just didn't remember it. And so, as a community, this is our time to dream, um, to journal, to do introspection, to go within ourselves, to allow ourselves to believe in the miracle of ourselves, to believe in our divinity, to believe in purpose, to believe in community, right? To believe in the family of humankind. We're all in this together. We are all connected. Um, and so as we come back around that spiral dance, surrendering into our wholeness, we arrive at where we never left, right? This is basically the hero's journey. Coming back to where we never left, coming back to who we always were. He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before, right? This is what is calling salmon home, and it's surrendering to that path that gets us there. We just need to broaden our vision, step outside of, I was going to say safety, what we think as safety, right? Security, having enough in the bank, having, all our ducks in a row, etc. Ducks in a row, when you're already infinitely, eternally safe. And so it's kind of leaning into this a little bit more, allowing yourself to expand beyond the confines of what's been expected of you, what's acceptable, and actually coming in, owning the mask, owning your space, right? Owning your space. You can't play small. So that is our reading for the community. And again, I love how the individual cards kind of weave in, spiral into the message for our community. That's how important you are to our community. That's how your personal medicine and power affects the world. So, hello. So I hope that made sense. I hope you enjoyed that. Um, oh, you're welcome, Charles. Thank you. Is my lovely cat a Siberian? No, I I don't know for sure. I know she's got some Maine Coon. Hey, Angel. Hi. Thank you for for showing up. Awesome. Um, so that is our readings. If you came in late, this will be posted to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. They I've been doing these for over 6 years. It's like I started um, around the pandemic, and I've been doing this ever since. So, oh, you are so welcome, Kim. I appreciate you too. But on my YouTube channel, I've got 6 years worth of these readings and ceremonies and stories and songs and all kinds of different things. So check that out. Um, um, what else? Please like and all of that good stuff. I guess that helps somehow. Um, you're so welcome, Kim. Um, and please share my video if you know of someone that it may be helpful for. Move my camera up because I'm cutting off Bubba's head. That's Bubba, the bat-winged hamster. So, um, long story, but anyway, please share my video. Um, you can tag people in the comments. You can share it to their or your social media. Anything that helps promote my voice. I'm trying to expand my influence, expand my voice. So the more the merrier. And if you wish to reciprocate, if you enjoyed tonight or got something out of it and wish to reciprocate in a different way, I do have my Venmo link in the description. Apparently it's not working right now, but I'm going to go in right after this and change it so that it works. But if you wish to give me anything, this is a free, this is a gift from my heart, but I gratefully and humbly receive anything you wish to give me um, to support your friendly neighborhood shaman. Um, anything else? I think that is it for now. Stay tuned for announcements coming up in the new year. I'm going to be doing some more classes and stuff, and hopefully I'm going to be doing a little bit more of um, making more videos and stuff like that, having fun. Um, and so stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for supporting me by just watching this. I hope you found some meaning and some answers in it. Um, and if you decide you need more, you can always rewatch this and choose a different number or card the second time and see what that message is. I promise it will all link up, sync up, and make sense to you. And so until I see you again, please know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right. Bye now.